Hey, welcome everybody to Battle Pirates Crib. We're going to talk about hit and run, uh, the new Omega weapon, whatever else is available. Um, and let's see. And let's say hello to everybody. Magic Mike,
Hello, everyone.
the Saint,
Good day, everyone.
and Derpy.
Hello, my water baby angels.
Are you doing your Drake impression?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And KB
Good morning. Good morning.
and Pegleg.
Yeah, let's see how this goes. Glad to be here, but if the concrete sawing goes too loud, I'll have to mute off or just exit. So,
Okay. All right. Well, let's go to the. Let's go move a slide forward. All right. Nothing we have new, I don't think, to talk about. Yeah, TSM wants to bring in our brain-bending virtual reality that he sported on what was that, Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening. Sorry, I don't have that capability here. Nothing really here that's worth.
I'm not going to say too much about it, but on the bug fixing, a few of us are not convinced they actually fixed the damage from the turret defense applying to Omega. So a few of us think it might still be working, but don't quite know yet.
working on getting that investigated, aren't we, Ian?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, we can move forward. Yeah, we talked about the lack of the strategy guide and how I think it's just useful if they at least provide the at the very least a picture of the turret and the or the ship or whatnot that's in the one of the NPCs, and at least provide a name at the very least, if not providing a little bit more detail, just so people can talk about it with the same terminology, as opposed to that weird looking thing or the thing that looks like
that
this.
little fast bugger.
Yeah.
Missile one, the scattergun one. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't think if that's done, it'd be that difficult to say this one is, provides splash. It has this range. It does, whatever. It doesn't. It just seems like it's something that's is a useful part of the communication with the player base.
Well, the thing is, it's meant to be a strategy game, so without that information, we're kind of sitting in the dark. And really, how long would it take? There's 3 different types of turrets in this raid. So you've got a missile one, which has got medium range and high damage or whatever. It would take them about 15 minutes to put that information together.
If you made the targets and you knew what everything did, it would take you 15 to 30 minutes.
Exactly.
If you got to kill 4 fleets to find out what everything does, it takes you a few hours and a day or two of repair time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an odd thing for them to choose to drop. I mean, Derpy's been nice enough to go and do what he just explained and provide videos and write-ups on it, but it's really shouldn't have to be his job.
I actually think the best case scenario is that we don't need a strategy guide because you can peek the target and tell what everything's going to do. The missile is red, so it means it's penetrative, and it's a missile, which means it tracks you. And if it's shaped like the big phallic-looking projectiles, you can't shoot it down. If it's a normal missile, you can. And that's the ideal thing. You don't even need a strategy guide because you can tell what's going to be in there, and you know it's consistent and not going to change VXP to the raid. But we don't even have any insight on that. If something had changed, they don't really do designer diaries anymore, so we're not going to know that at all.
Yeah, and then things like, there was a brand new, that little blue thing over the OP. That's brand new.
That was great, and that should have been in the VXP targets, telling us what building you need to kill to get to unshroud the Hulks. I figured out that you had to kill a building to unshroud the Hulks, but out of the 3 Reaver outposts, we didn't know which one. So having the blue thing on there is great. Although I had actually, based off the VXP targets, I said, it'd be great if we could hover over that building and it lights up the hulks, or you hover over the hulks and it lights up that building. But that didn't get implemented. So,
well, they did something at least to try to say, "Hey, got it. This has got a thing." But yeah,
it's
Yeah, but
good.
we don't-
I'm literally in a 172 right now. One of the buildings has a blue thing over it. The other two don't. I killed the one with the blue thing over it.
Yeah, and the whole Eye of Sauron thing is new as far as I know. That might have been
No, it happened in the Pegasus targets.
okay. Alrighty. But stuff like that should be, communicated, because I don't know. It seems like some people are struggling to a certain degree here. So, have the decimator cannons been changed?
No.
Okay.
No,
What is
it doesn't change our blueprints without putting something in the update notes, and decimators have been out for a year now, so there's no reason for them to change. They haven't been changed.
Okay, we're not sure if he's being sarcastic or not, but let's move on to the next slide. All right, we are in the midst of the hit and run raid. Hold the line for everybody that does not have, and I'm expecting most of you don't have all of your turrets ranked up. The mastery round provides the ability to get 3-day defensive platform upgrade tokens. So, if you have some downtime, if you have decent Everest, you can pretty much auto these with the Everest and pretty much have no repair time if you repair in between, or just run it through. And I don't know how much damage if you get if you just run it through and just auto the whole thing without repairing in between. Just because they're it's not doing anything to the abomination.
Well, it is. You just got to hit it 100 times.
All right. We're going to get a new Forsaken mission next week, which I assume that means the end of was the 174. It's now going to be somewhere between 175 and whatever, because they've been skipping so many numbers recently. It's sort of hard to predict what the actual number of the next target will be.
Maybe they go back to 173 that they skipped.
Yeah, that would be even spicier, if they did that. I actually recommend they do that. Give us something to talk about.
I don't think I ever hit a 174.
Okay, well,
just want to say something.
okay. And the other item of importance is May 23rd, Murderous Intent, along with Bounty, provides you with the 5 upgrade tokens and 8 build tokens for your Ravagers. So something to consider.
the other thing to consider is the kits that you'll pick up as part. Well, no, there won't be kits. Will there be?
There'll be 280 kits.
There will be 280 kits. Okay, I was misthinking there.
Is it 240 or 280? It's one of the two.
Right. So, I mean, if you're trying to factor what to spend your points on, and you're not doing so hot this raid, and what you need, consider. Well, you do that thing. You don't have to pick up those now.
Yeah, and also that would also go along with build tokens in the raid current. So that's another.
More
thing
than likely, everybody needs all the upgrade tokens you can get, unless you're buying it, of course.
Yeah. So, something to consider. And it wasn't that bad last time around, but it's not one that I don't know. I will experiment when it comes out, but I don't think the Ravagers are going to actually do well on this target. But they may. Just because of
You said it wasn't that bad. I hated it.
Well, did you hate it, or was it? Did it?
I couldn't auto anything. I had to drive every single one of them, and
okay.
Targets had 100 elements in there, which seemed like 50 too many.
Yeah, but you were getting through it with not a lot of damage.
I got 18 hours damage on one run, so
Autoing it?
No. They made me repeat encounter 7.
Okay. The extra spectral derpy treatment. So, alrighty, let's move on. All right, hit and run. How's everybody doing? I know, Mike, you're having some lost click issues. Even bought a new mouse, but that didn't seem to help the issue. I've seen a couple people in Discord complain about the same thing. Well, I'm not having the issue at all, and a lot of people in Discord weren't having the issue. So, sort of trying to figure out where this is coming from.
I haven't found any dead spots on the map outside of the area around the darn rocket launch thing that we've had since HTML5 came along. I really wish they could do something with that.
Oh, when you launch you're launching your own rocket?
If you're going to launch your own rocket, yeah, that little command area there kind of has a no-click zone around it for ship movement.
Okay.
And you kind of lose if you want to go up in that corner or whatever. It's like you got to shift your map around so you can get that enough out of the way you can click up there. Be nice if they could come up with a different way to deal with that.
So, anybody in chat having this issue? I'm trying to figure out if it's.
This could be totally me. I don't.
No. Like I said, I've seen some other people in Discord. Maybe it's you and your Discord fake accounts complaining about it, but I have seen some other people complaining about it.
Well, remember I was doing a demo or something a week or so ago, and I was having click problems then too, but that might have been the mouse for sure. That mouse is absolutely 100% wore out. I know that. There's no question it needed to be changed.
But with the new mouse, you're not getting any improvement.
I think I got a little improvement, but there's still some spots where I keep clicking and nothing's happening that I'm expecting to happen.
Okay. Just for Kicks has the same malady that you do, Mike.
Oh.
So you're not alone. Unless this is your alt.
No, it's not.
Okay.
With that kind of name, I don't know.
Well, Magic Mike, Just for Kicks. I don't know. It seems like those two would party together, just to be honest.
Party hardy.
Just for Kicks, have you tried to see if it's are you running into the same issue with like cargo, or is it just all of the new targets? Is it the 170, 172? Is it also, does it include all of the targets, all the new targets, or is it limited to certain places and certain times? I also got a new. This has really got to be your alt.
I know you asked him this, but I get this in every raid.
Okay, every raid you have this issue where you're having.
Yep, to some degree. Yep. I will state that as far as I know as a fact.
I'm not going to tell you it's psychosomatic.
I do have psychosomatic difficulties.
Well, we have Just for Kicks, and Josh is also having some of these issues, but it doesn't want to move to that spot.
Makes me feel a lot better.
Yeah. This is a support group for you, Mike.
I've occasionally had that problem, but the one that pisses me off more than anything is occasionally when I click, only one of the ships move.
Huh.
The others just stay where they are. So that gets frustrating when you've tried to move the whole lot and only one goes.
Yeah, but that sounds like you're clicking too close to your fleet.
No.
Okay.
So if you click
That's why I haven't bothered complaining. So I know that's the exact answer I get from Kicks.
Oh my goodness! All right.
Too close, and it's definitely not clicking too close, but it's just a random thing that happens every now and then. One of the other issues I did have is I lost all the rings on the chips, and the frame rate went down to 1 or 2 per second there for a good couple of hours, which made it pretty hard. You had no reference points on the
I had that
on the
happen once,
screen.
and the Heavy's going to tell you the solution is to force quit Chrome and clear everything in the task manager.
Well, that
No,
I did.
I restart my computer and then I unplug and replug in my my monitor. Well, it depends on which problems. It sounds like there's a couple problems here combined.
Yeah, well, I reset the modem and also finish up restarting the computer.
Yeah, if you are running into the issue where you do not see the range, yeah, you need to quit Chrome completely and then come back. Don't just shut down the tab or reload it. You need to do that completely. That's a WebGL issue that's been introduced with HTML5. But if you're having the other issue where you're going from like every 15 seconds, you're going from like, I'm just going to make up a number, 50 frames per second down to 2, like every like 15, 20 seconds.
No, this was consistent. That was down around 2.
And just stay that way?
Yeah.
Okay. I've had the issue. Go ahead.
There's nothing wrong with internet speed or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, but I've had that happen, and I've filed tickets, and they're like, well, thanks for all the information, because I gave them all my internet up, internet down, my DX DAG, and, you know, all these things. And they're like, well, thanks for all the information. And then it's fixed afterwards. But then after that happened, what I started to do was, if I ran into that problem, because I ran into that problem earlier today, about 2 or 3 hours ago. Well, in my instance, it was intermittent. It wasn't consistent like yours was. I went and unplugged my router, rebooted my computer, started everything back up, and the problem disappeared at that point. I don't know if it's just, you know, because I'm taking 15 minutes away from the game and it would have gone away anyways, and it's just a sporadic thing that's happening to me. I'm not completely certain, but it's worked the last couple times I've done it. I don't know what the problem is or what the solution is, but well, that's the solution I found. So
yeah, well, that's the only thing that seemed to work, because I cleared the cache and I did all the usual bloody stuff. And
I didn't clear the cache. I just rebooted the computer and then reset my router, my Wi-Fi router.
No, well, I try all the stuff that we used to have to do, and you know, you just keep going till you find something that worked.
Yeah, that was interesting, because the customer support person, when I told him I cleared cache, sort of scolded me for doing that, and I was like, well, I didn't know what else to do. I was like, you shouldn't do that. That's a Flash thing. Don't clear your cache anymore. So I don't, you know, it just takes longer for the game to reload. I don't think it causes any other problems. Maybe it's a problem on their side, because you are you're sucking more. You're increasing their cost to run the game because of their
sucking more life out of the game.
Well, sucking more. Well, you're sucking more information out of their servers that they're paying for, probably by the megabyte. And so when because
are they actually paying?
Yeah, I think they're.
I've got doubts.
Yeah, they're. The last time I did an IP, I looked at the IP address of the last couple of jumps. It was IBM related company that they're doing their cloud servers from. At one point, it was. Oh, we lost Mike. Yep. Okay. So maybe that's the reason that they don't want us to refresh. I don't know. I mean, because I sort of felt scolded, but I wasn't really sure what was going on.
Yeah, it used to be with Flash, we had to do that, like you said, every time to try and keep it running well. In today's game, it should only be done as a last-ditch attempt to solve a performance problem, which it sounds like it was here. So,
yeah. So, yeah. Okay. How else is the raid working out for everybody else as far as, unless we got more on the mouse click issue?
well, I've got 30 million points. I have spent 6 coins, 2 of which were due to a bug, which I've yet to hear back with a response on.
Mm-hmm.
So really just 4 coins. And 30 million, a lot of grinding, a lot of hitting targets. I hit one repair for 5 minutes, 10 minutes on the flagship. Usually take more damage. I'm sure we'll get into that. Doing the 172s and 514s with my Ravagers and the 606 with Reclaimers, I auto 170s a fair amount as well. So I'm liking the DOT a whole lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah, I'm running a similar, less than full fleet than like you are doing, Yen. You've got a little higher upgrade on one of yours at X1, or maybe it's 2 of them now. And I'm doing okay with the time I've had to play, which hasn't been enough to rack up a lot of points. But I'm a little frustrated by not being able to get my repairs down a little bit lower than they are. I'm feeling like, this is a little much for a first raid per target. And boy, on the 514, if you screw up and trigger both those Hulks earlier than you want to, what a pain in the neck that is.
I used to take lots of laps.
Yeah, that's the way not the 514, I haven't hit that yet, but the 172, I just do laps around. I do 2 laps around the outside, and that's basically how, and then I go into the inside. Because I don't want to double back around because of the fog cutter missiles potentially running into, running double backing and getting hit by those. But yeah, I just do 2 laps around the do 2 laps clockwise, and that seems to work pretty well for me. KB.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. That just takes time. That's probably the biggest complaint about it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things traditionally with an assault target. They're probably the longest targets to hit. There's an awful lot of driving to try and minimize your damage.
Yeah, because the whole thing with assault, it should be called, charge and run away.
Yeah.
And it's been that way for a long time. And and it seems like, I don't know what the solution is with assault, but that just seems to be the way they've done it.
Well, certainly with the damage over time makes it that you've got to run away.
Yeah, but I remember, but looking back through the assault targets, that was just generally the way you did it.
Yeah, well, they've traditionally always had the fog as well, so you can run off and hide in the fog to help minimize things. And
but most of the time,
you can't use the fog huge amounts until you've got the bloody thing half dead.
Yeah, in this one, yes, yeah.
So there's a couple of little dead spots that you can sneak in, but for the most part, well, you just got to keep moving.
Yeah, I mean, historically, yeah, I agree completely. Historically, you could have just, okay, I'm going to go in the, at least when they started the fog, you could just run in there and feel safe. But now it's sort of like, 90% of the time that you hide in the fog, you're going to get fucked.
Yeah, well, one of the funny things I've found is there's one particular spot where you can go into the fog and get right up on the target, and your ships will shoot for a while, then all of a sudden the ring will light up. So you got to nick off out of there. But, it doesn't, the fog cutters don't shoot straight away. So I don't know whether that's a connection issue or whether it's just something
I always thought of it as like a telegraph reload type of, one of
Well,
those. things.
what I've been noticing is these things have a super long range. Will shoot at me once and takes like 30 seconds to reload or whatever, 15, whatever long time.
Mhm.
So I can get in the clouds, be safe for a solid 5-10 seconds, thinking I'm all good. And then the one that's just done reloading targets me and shoots at me again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's pretty much what I think was happening. But it sort of lulls you into a false sense of security. You sit there for 5 or 6 seconds, and you're just waiting for it to kill the turret. Then all of a sudden, there's a projectile on the way.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I wouldn't mind the fog cutter missiles. Some of them seem to be faster than the others. I wouldn't mind if they were all a little bit slower on their projectile speed.
Well, what I find is the ones that fire from further away are quicker, and the closer ones are slower, which I think is fair because obviously the splash ring that they produce is the same size, no matter where they're coming from.
Right.
And if it's closer, if they were going as quick as some of the longer ones, you would never be able to outrun the missiles. But at least you can with them being a bit slower. But I guess if you had an average speed, it would probably be okay.
Is everybody running interception system?
Yes.
I am.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm using corrosive battery too.
Wait, are you
I'm
using two
joking.
of them? Are you using two of
No.
them? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I've got corrosive battery 1 and corrosive battery 2 and siege targeting 4.
Okay. Very nice. And
And
conquest.
maybe
battery.
half a ship.
Yes. Yeah, because it seems odd that they. I mean, I don't know if they plan for it, but it seems odd that they relied on a tier 4 special to pretty much drive this.
I am very confident that what happened is they didn't understand what they were doing, and the ratio of damage, real damage to damage over time, was completely out of whack with their expectations.
Yeah.
I bet that's what happened.
Well, I'm also talking about the combat speed. Because if you think about it, I'm wondering what happens if, A, you don't have the flag and you're not running interception system. So you are losing what? Let's see, the 30 combat speed from the flag and the 20% combat speed for interception system. That lack of the 50% combat speed boost. How close are those fog cutter missiles coming to you?
Not just that, but the scatters too.
Yeah. It's the combat speed was more what I was thinking about than the supercharge. Because that it seems to make a huge difference running this versus not. And if you add in the flag, if you didn't have the flag available, it seems like you're going to get nailed by. You're going to take way more damage.
So so the speed differential goes from 100 if you're not running interception to 108, because it's not 30% of the whole thing, it's 30% of the base speed, isn't it? So you go from 100 to 108. So is that going to make enough difference to be hit? You're certainly going to be hit by some of the scatters a bit more.
But also, if you don't have the flag, because that's also adding.
Well,
30%.
yeah, you absolutely need the flag in there as well, I think, yeah.
So, that combination, you're probably down to 92, or I don't know. I haven't run the numbers.
No, that 100 is the base speed of a Ravager without interception system and without any boost.
Okay, yeah. Because we're probably at. I don't know. I haven't run the numbers as far as adding, because we're not at 108. We're at 108 plus 30%
of the base, or whatever it is here.
Yeah, so we're clicking along. We're pretty fast, which
And that's one of the things with trying to kite so precisely in this target. You're trying to only get 3 or 4 shots off. But because your speed, and at that point when the aura kicks in as well, you're turning so quickly. It's quite difficult to precisely get off exactly the number of shots that you need.
Yeah, and I'm still not certain on the split weapon thing. Where is everybody on this? Because it feels like, at least for me, I'm killing the target. I'm killing the targets as, um, you know, just driving by normally, like trying to kite them, even though, there's, as opposed, I guess it doesn't really matter to me if I'm taking one extra shot. I'm maybe getting shot at one more time, but is it really changing anything for me if I had a higher max damage? If that
I
makes
don't
sense.
think it's making any difference, to be honest. I've got all limited scatters on mine. It takes anything from 3 shots upwards, and for the most part of it, as you're driving by, you're getting off it more than 3 shots. In any case, it's only the ships that you've got a chance to do this, if that makes sense, because you're driving in front of them. So if you've just picked them up at the right spot, where you might get a couple of shots off and then you're out of range, so you got to stop and let them catch up again.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been running split weapons, but obviously with 3 ships, even if I had full weapons of everything, it probably wouldn't be an issue. Once you have 5 ships at U3, you'll be maxing things in 2 volleys. So,
but are they dead at that point?
I don't know. I'd love to see someone with a full U3 fleet hit something, just fire it twice and run away and see if the thing dies.
Or 3 times, because
2 times, because you max out in 2 shots.
Maybe. Okay.
Oh, you max out in 2 shots. Yeah, there's no maybe about that.
Well, okay,
maybe
yeah.
2.05 if you have a countermeasure on, but
yeah. It really depends on the number that you have, but yeah, I mean, but if you run across and you deliver 3 shots,
but 3 does no more than 2.
But does it? We don't know that either. I mean,
well,
as long as you trust
than the blueprint tells us.
Yes. So.
I mean, tire mechanics are flipped around from what we believe. 2 is the same as 3 for a full U3 build with all weapons.
I think you kill everything, and but you're creating your damage faster, as well. I mean, because you are you're doing more damage more quickly, not just from the direct raw damage, but from the damage over time. So the numbers are a little tricky as far as how things come on and off.
Would you like to see a forum post with about 7 different graphs, and it's not even close to my mind.
Yeah, but yes, I've on certain things I've given up on the numbers, because we've learned we can't necessarily 100% trust them, to be honest. But
when I was watching Derpy's video, I couldn't see 2 separate stacks.
It would just show up as one icon for sure. I don't think,
because I thought some of the really old ones that we had, when there was 2 different types of stacks, they showed 2 different bars. Now that was several years ago now, so. But
yeah, that was with the launchers, right?
Yeah, that's correct. You had 2 different bars, but on this one, I'm sure when I was watching Derpy's, that you only had 1 bar that showed up on yours. So are we absolutely convinced? I know they've told us that it is creating 2 different separate stacks.
No, I'm not absolutely certain.
Yeah, but that is what they've told us, though, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, because, and that's always sort of worked that way, because because they have different damages, and how do they stack together? That was a problem we had with the launcher.
Yeah.
Well, with the launchers, they had different stacks to get the shockwave. So how do you decide? Yeah. So they just separated them. Does anybody have anything that they want to show on the targets, like a run through of any of them? as far as the way people are. And Mike can show the fact that he's, he doesn't have as much click in his mouse as he used to back when he was a youngster.
Yeah.
but
I was
but that's more of a niche thing. Does anybody have anything on the S and X targets that they find that might be useful to people?
I would have to say Crying Lady's video of the 514 is really pretty good. If anybody is seeing that. She really applies her fleet well to the target, takes advantage of all the stuff in there, uses the terrain, the clouds, all that kind of stuff really well. I haven't exactly replicated what she did. Her fleet's more advanced than mine as far as upgrades and stuff, but it's a well done video if you haven't seen it.
Cool.
I've been kind of lazy. I haven't been using the clouds as much as I know I should be for lowest damage, but I don't think I ever hit the target the same way twice in a row because it's so large. There's so much variation.
Yeah, you only have to be slightly out of position and you trigger one of the hulks, and then that just completely changes how you have to hit it every time. So,
yep.
They're not the same as the siege targets where you could just do the same route every single time and you knew exactly how you needed to do it. There's quite a lot of variation in these. So Hefe, the issue I was having, and we spoke about it on the show beforehand, is that because I didn't upgrade my flagship at all, it was at U0, it was taking considerably more damage than any of the others. The suggestion there was to put a cannon on there, an S cannon, which gives a 5% upgrade in speed. Now I've just hit a 172 and it made 9 minutes difference in damage, because more of the damage was going to the X1 with the speed cannon on. So it was a significant change. So if anybody is having that problem with an unupgraded flagship, but they have got a U3 or an X1 normal Ravager, it might be worth them just putting on one of those speed cannons to just get it slightly out ahead.
Use it as a tank.
Yeah, but you drive it pretty normally, but it just goes out as a tank naturally. And because it's got much higher deflections on it, it's when the odd missile does get through, it's absorbing the damage from the missile rather than it targeting the U0 flagship, which it seems to do most of the time if they're all stacked, which has got lower evade because I haven't got the U2 bonus on the flagship either. And
I've got
lower deflections from the U3 as well.
Yeah, I've got the U2 bonus on my flag, and it still takes noticeably more damage than.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'll concur. Mine's even fully upgraded, and that still takes more damage than the others.
Even what are you at? X1 or U2?
Yeah.
U3?
No, X1.
Filthy coiner.
Well, I had some left over from the initial upgrade X3, so
I mentioned, I think Ian, you probably saw my countable thing, was I wonder if it'd be worth making the flagship like an ultra high evade build to deal with. It seems to get targeted by the missiles. Give up the shaft system on it and stick a GS3 on it or something to push the evade up. Because at X1, it doesn't get the evade bonus that the regulars do.
It doesn't, you're correct, yeah.
I just wonder if that would be a prudent move.
I'm almost more tempted to make one of the normal X1s. I mean, part of me wants to just match the combat speed and do what you're saying. But part of me also wants to make the ship that's going to be better at that already has more evade on it, and that doesn't have countermeasures on it. That way I don't have to change my flag build at all, because I'm not going to have any tokens for the flag.
Yeah, because I put my counters on the flag, but in hindsight, I probably should have put them on one of the other ones.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that. I can spend a coin and have this thing done, and
Like, is everybody only running 2 counters, or has people got more than 2 counters on?
I got one on each. But
I've got 3 total.
3 total.
no, I've got 2 on the flag and nothing on the rest.
because I find I shoot down most of the missiles, but every now and again the odd one gets through with two.
Is that just because of accuracy of your MDS3, and it's not taking all of them down, or is it because it's getting overwhelmed?
No, I think it's just the accuracy. Because when I get every now and again, you just get one missile turret shoots 5. I'll shoot all 5 down. Next time round, same 5 come out, and I'll shoot 4 out of the 5 down. So I don't think it's the number of antis. I just think it's that randomness with the accuracy. So. But I have
I had more than
build, so I
more than 2 originally, and even with I think it was 4 across the fleet, there was still stuff getting through occasionally.
Yeah,
and in particular the drones or the of the Hulks. Occasionally, one of those would get through.
Yep.
And that still happens now with 2, so I reckon the more damage was better than having more antis, so I swapped out the other couple. And I haven't noticed any great jump in the damage at all, so 2 seems to be enough.
You can't stick guidance number 3 on because you have this guy.
Yeah, and that's what coincides with what Lego is saying. Is like, I haven't run the math of you as far as like, I mean, we talked about what was going on with the Saint, but as far as, I mean, you're going to end up, Mike, can you go to slide 6? Next slide. Okay. The weird thing here is that we have, on the left is the normal Ravager. On the right is the flagship. You get plus 20% evade bonus on those ships that aren't getting shot at by the accuracy-based weapons, and you don't have it with the ship that's getting shot at. Now, is this just pushing us to use Sea Serpents, to get the additional evade?
Well, I'm not sure that Sea Serpents are actually giving you anything in any case.
I find it evens out my damage.
I've been using them, and I haven't really noticed that they're making much difference at all. Now, maybe it's just my poor driving. I don't know, but
well, they're not.
I'm not going with total damage, but the damage on your flag. That's the important factor here. The damage on your flag should be reduced with Sea Serpents, and it may not impact your total damage as much, but your flag damage. That's sort of the issue where. You understand what I'm saying? Because just the way the mechanics of the game works, the ship in the number 1 spot or the furthest ahead is going to be taking the vast brunt of the incoming accuracy-based weapons. And so the fact that it has lower evade than the X1 ships is counterintuitive the way they've done this. At least to me.
Yeah, I mean, did they just not realize they weren't putting evade on there, or did they intentionally leave it off, or what?
Yeah, I mean, and go ahead.
You got the the evade was on the flag, but you got the extra damage, which was just raw damage that actually makes an explosion on the targets when it hits.
Yes,
a little cloud come up.
But the issue is, you might get your damage down to 10 minutes, but 8 minutes of it might be on your flagship.
Yeah, well, the flag's always, no matter which target I've hit, has always had more damage. Yeah,
and so that's what I found with using the Sea Serpents. At least lowered the damage on the flag. So that it was more even across the board as far as the damage I was taking. And so if you were repairing in the dock, it was more advantageous to run Sea Serpents because I may have the similar damage, but there was more on the flag because if I didn't run Sea Serpents, because I did find that I was getting less total damage running Molotov Maidens on some of the targets as opposed to running Sea Serpents, but I found that I had a lot more damage on the flag, and I get more damage on the flag in the 170s than I do in the 172s as well, relative to the damage on the back ships.
Just to add to the confusion, right?
Well, I'm just confused why they added the 20% evade bonus on the back ships and not the front ship, which needs the evade.
Yeah.
And then the other question is, do you take off Zynthium Bow? Are you going to be better off with taking Zynthium Bow off and putting Guidance Scrambler 3 on to get the additional 10% evade? Is it what is the trade-off with the corrosive, the corrosive or the penetrative survival in that case? I have no idea.
Even you're still taking some corrosive damage, so you don't want to reduce that thing too far. I almost just pulled the refit button, but I decided not to. So
is 10% enough to make it?
Ian, could you stack just the evade upgrade on there and get much out of it?
You could stick the evade upgrade on there if you wanted to. I don't know how much that would actually help. I mean, over Chaff Splitter system, you could do that. I'm not sure.
Just the fact that you had your shipyard open, you could look at it. Mine isn't, so yeah. I can't. But
I'm going to target right now, but
okay.
Right. Open shipyard. What are you?
But the other solution when we're talking about Saint's issue, he was on a golf trip, quote unquote. I have no idea what he was actually doing, but he missed 4 or 5 days in the game, and so he has some ships, some of his back ships at X1, and then his flag is at U0. So he's taking way more damage on his flag than I think most people that have a level, relatively, a group of ships that are relatively similar as far as evade and
he's just hard charging this thing.
That's the way I do it. I drive it like I stole it, and I never stop. Yeah.
Yeah, I like to get the whole sun shrouded early, so I run over to this corner here, which means I'm being shot at by about 17 different turrets and 4 ships.
Yeah, but as long as you keep moving, you're in good shape.
I mean, I really haven't taken... I was going to split my ships up. I haven't taken a ton of damage so far. I don't know how well you can see that here, but there's...
No, that's what it looked like. You were just barreling on through, and everybody was like staring at you while they were shooting, but not hitting anything.
Yeah. That's the way I'm driving it.
Yeah, some turrets are still half dead here, which is a bit annoying, but it's not the end of the world.
So Hefe, I think you might have just stepped out quickly when I was saying you were talking about the issue I was having with my flag there. I did what you suggested. I put a D35S on.
Yeah.
And yes, I did put one more penetrative armor on as well. But I reduced my damage by about 9 minutes. I got my best time by a long way because it was targeting that X1 out front, and I got my damage down on my flag down to 6 minutes. So I only had a minute of repair. So I think having that, if anybody is having that same issue, that might be the way to go.
Well, in the armor change, that could be other ways. You've got the other ones tilted. At least most people, I think, are tilted 3 corrosive, 1 penetrative for the most part. Some are running balance 50-50. Is on the flag, maybe because it's getting targeted by the missiles, tilt that one on the penetrative side a bit.
Yeah, well, I didn't change the flag. I just changed one of the X1s.
So now your X1's getting hit more. And
yeah, the
one
X1
that's getting hit more.
Slightly out in front. It's gone to 110 rather than 108 speed, so it's only slightly out in front. So it doesn't get out of control, and it made a huge difference for me. So that was a nice change.
I'm glad to hear it worked out. But yeah, as far as flag with GS3 gives you 64 as opposed to 61.
Yeah,
I have-
61 or just 60 flat. I don't think that's a big enough difference.
No, I wouldn't do it if it was that close.
Even if
Well,
it turns out to be
okay.
better on penetrative, you're going to get smacked on corrosive still.
Yeah, because I have my what's the lab? I have my tactical lab all the way to 18.
Ah, so yeah, that bonus too.
Yeah,
This green bar is tiny. The Evade helps a lot here, at least in terms of the battle report. I usually have 3 or 4% resisted and 1% taken. It's so low, it's just rounding, and I guess the Sea Serpents really helps out here. But 10 minutes repair. I guess this is the first time using 2x1 on the back here, but I figure by next raid I'll have this thing up to x1. In the meantime, I don't know if this is instant base repair. That'd be a first, but
well, yeah, the Sea Serpents help with getting the damage down on your flag. That's
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I thought that didn't help a ton, but I guess it does. And maybe actually Steelheads is good just for the penetrative survival on the flagship.
I don't know.
Could help a little bit.
This gives you 24% evade. That brings you from my evade right now on the flag is at 64. Let's see. That just gives me 8% less damage taken, or unless things have over 100% accuracy. Oh well, which is probably the case based on how well this thing worked. I think this is instant base repair.
I said pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Considering you're running a 3-hull fleet, I mean.
Yeah, I mean it's 3 quite upgraded hulls, but
right.
I've spent 30 million points on, so it's not exactly a fair comparison to whatnot, but I'm happy with the result. I wouldn't say it's representative of anything really.
Josh asks, what about adding one D5 EV on the extra for the extra 12.4% evade as well as the GS3? I would. That's the trade-off I was looking at as far as, do you add D5 EV on another ship, not the flag, to have it out in front, and then add the evade? I don't know. I mean, it's sort of the whole evade thing is sort of tricky to figure out because we don't know the accuracy of the incoming weapons. So you need to experiment with that. But yeah, evade is definitely good as far as keeping the minimizing the damage that you have on your flagship. Doesn't really
get hit by a missile turret there.
I'm going to try one.
Well, I don't know. I'm just having a look at my fleet, and everything's coming up with the same amount of art. Whether or not the stats are not showing up correctly, I don't know. But my Ruthless Ravager is showing 75% evade bonus.
What upgrade are you at?
I'm fully upgraded.
Oh, at X1.
Yeah, so my flag is showing 75, yet all the ships are showing 75 as well.
Do you want to share screen? Because
Yeah,
that would not make sense.
But that's what I seem to be seeing.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the U X1 upgrade is so long on the flagship, it is literally just eliminated some stuff and isn't showing them.
Yeah, because that would be interesting if it actually, if it's they dropped somehow it just didn't make it to the stat block. When we saw
it on forums, I did actually go check in game to make sure it wasn't just cropped out the bottom line or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I do. Yeah. Okay. All right. So this is your. I'm going to go to. Let's make it larger so we can see this. All right. So you have.
So this is the Ruthless Ravager.
Yeah. Okay. 75.
75.
And my ship with the same exact build shows 64.
And this is just the Ravager.
Okay. So maybe.
75. So I don't understand how they could be the same.
Yeah, your builds appear to be the same across.
Oh, yeah, I got the same build across all the fleet.
Yeah, it just appears it's just not in the stat block. I mean, that's the only conclusion I could jump to.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
So ignore what I said before because I don't have them all at X1, but yeah, that is.
Yeah, but the flag shouldn't be showing up as 75, should it? Because it's got less.
Well,
evade.
Unless what we're saying is that evade actually does apply, and it's just hidden from the stat block, but is actually in the stats.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Which would be kind of dumb, but.
Yeah, because people are, at least me, I'm thinking about making changes based on the fact that we don't get the additional plus 20.
I almost just did, so I'm glad I did not.
Yeah. All right, we're back to you, Derpy.
I'm just going in circles here. Not the best run so far. Yeah. Messed up one or two times, but I almost enjoy the target telling me I've got to go away for 5 minutes after I do it. 5-10 minutes of, that's the most likely time to get hit by missiles when you're stopped in the cloud because you don't have your whole acceleration up there.
I never stop.
I do sometimes in the clouds when I think I'm safe, but like someone said earlier, I think it was KB or maybe it was the same. It was KB. That you think you're safe and then they get you.
Exactly.
Like this guy just fired, so if I turn around sitting here for, if I sit right here, I'll think I'm safe. And then 5-6 seconds later, someone's going to shoot at me again, even though I've just been in the same spot the whole time. And if you're stopped, yeah, right there it was. You haven't been moving, it'll hurt you.
And generally, when you do get hit, it's nearly about a 20-minute repair. Yeah,
per gigantic missile that hits you.
Yeah. What will it be if you add one D5 EV though to a regular Ravager? It really depends on
1 minus 0.64 times 0.07 plus 0.64.
Yes, but in reality, it really depends on your level of upgrade, your level of your upgraded labs, and everything else. Because the way that works is, I'm going to use an easy example. This is not an example based in what's going on in the game, but let's say you start off with 50% evade, and then you want to add a special that adds another 50% evade. It's not going to go to 100%. It takes the difference between where you started. You started at 50, and so your level of improvement could be up to 50. So it takes your level of potential improvement, or whatever word you might want to use for that, and increases it that way. So if you have 50% evade and you add, Guidance Scrambler 3, which adds 50%, you're going to get to 75%. You are going to take that improvement based on what the remaining bonus is relative to 100%, if that makes sense.
This was not a very good run, by the way.
Welcome back, Peg Leg.
Thanks. A little crash action on my own there.
You crashed too?
Yeah, well, sometimes when I have the stream going and I try to play the game, this spare PC I use for this during this time is not really robust.
Well, there was a Windows update that came out today.
Or yesterday, yeah.
Or yesterday, but I got mine today, and I did the update, and I did it hours ago, and I haven't seen that blue screen in a long time, and now I get the blue screen after that. And I had to actually unplug the electricity from the computer to actually get it to boot up.
Goodness.
I always thought your computer was propane.
Oh, well, you know.
That's the generator.
Yeah. It's actually I have a windmill outside there.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's responsible.
No, that's not good. You don't want to kill all the bald eagles.
Oh, I don't care about bald eagles. When they drop to the ground, then we
I don't think they have bald eagles over there, though.
we pick them up, butcher them, and freeze them, and then we have them for dinner. The crew was the sea serpent, right?
Yep.
Didn't do anything for me at all. Nothing. Zero. Got zero benefit. I still got like 14 minutes on the flag, and the rest were instant.
I'll bet you needed a larger sample size, but
that was a sample of one. Yes, you're right.
and it could be that it ends up having no impact for you and your path, the way you drive your fleet, but that could be true.
And this click stuff, I found that when a ship is starting to move, or a ship is dying, or some event like that, I have to click the spot that I want to go more than once. That's what I'm so far finding. So at the same time the ship that you're targeting, when it's starting to move, my ships don't go, or my mouse doesn't click the spot that I'm actually pushing the button to go to. Hard to explain. The dot that appears on the water does not appear, and I have to hit it more than once, twice, 3 times. And there's different events, like targeting a turret did that once. So I'm getting dead clicks with a brand new mouse, and it happens to me every stinking raid. And it didn't happen at all in the cargo target, by the way. I clicked all over the place, and one click it went there, one click it went there. So that's the best info I got at the moment. For whatever it's worth, and I don't know if anybody in chat has that same experience or not, but certainly doesn't help the damage either.
Nope, definitely not.
Has anybody hit the 606 target?
Oh yeah.
I hit one last night before I went to bed. That was.
I haven't hit that yet. What's that like?
It's really quite a breeze if you've got your reclaimers done from the last stuff. It's not hard at all.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Okay, so it's probably worth it, because the 514 itself it's a long target, but you can actually get the damage pretty low on that one.
It's not so bad either. Yeah.
It just takes a long time, so it's probably worth doing some of those.
Yeah, racking up the full ultimate set bonus thing and everything with it. Yeah, I think it's worth it, especially if you can let your reclaimers, or your not reclaimers, your what's the name of it? The Ravagers. Thank you. Yeah,
Ravagers. Yeah,
I'm getting old, fellas.
Right. I almost said photons.
But let your Ravagers repair, or the flag repair, whatever, while you go out and you do some 606s to set stuff up in the meantime.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
It's been, everyone I've done has been instant repair on the dock. I haven't got it below 5 minutes yet, but it's been close. Like 6 minutes on the map. Just quick dock it and you're good to go.
And is it a new target? It's not one we saw before?
It is a little bit new, but it's very simple, really.
Same basis, yeah.
In fact, that's what I was doing when my game crashed.
Okay.
Could probably
What?
waiting for the drag strip to go by outside there. I don't know if you heard it.
RuPaul?
Yeah, we were talking. Yeah, we were talking about the 606, and I was just saying we could probably demo one.
Well, let's not use my fleet to
On a
do
good
it.
laugh, I'll do one, and if you don't,
Okay. Go ahead.
okay. I gotta. Oh shit! I gotta change everything to do that. Hold on. I think I have to stop. Stop screen.
Have to admit, I'm actually surprised by it. I had expected the 606 would be a little bit more challenging than it actually is. It's a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, I agree on that one. Maybe it's because we're all spoiled with all X1s, but
That very well could be too. But
it is even with all X1s, seemed like it was not as much damage as I expected.
yeah, I'm surprised that it, you can do it for as cheaply as you can, considering it's a bonus, a target, or however they're classifying it as.
The other thing I wanted to talk about was the
Well, I guess
effectiveness of the Omega Executioner.
Okay, that's
Anybody-
something Ian and I can comment on. I guess probably, maybe.
Yeah, should be able to.
Okay.
I haven't redeemed it yet, but I think I've hit a base with it. The stats with the thing are 5.2 million damage, but it's split up over a salvo of 8.
Mhm.
And if you have a penetrative plate, you can reduce that to 550,000 damage per projectile. If you have any of the current tier 10 holes, the long short of it is it just sort of scratches them. A little bit of damage, won't really do anything major. You could let it fire for a few minutes. And it would eventually kill your fleet, but it might take the whole 5 minutes to actually kill one ship.
Mhm.
It seems designed, based on the salvo count and the damage numbers, to kill lower tier ships, like the Basilisk.
Yeah.
Basilisk killer, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or whatever. If someone is using an extremely fast old ship, I don't even remember the name of, as a decoy to stop my mortar from actually hitting their Basilisk, it would kill
King's
that
Red.
thing too. Yeah. So it won't do anything to exterminators, but will do a lot to Basilisks, which people have different opinions on how much they like Basilisks in today's game.
Well, like we talked about on the TFC page about this whole thing is, it does a little damage to the tier 10 stuff. They didn't intend for it to be, overpowered or a significant damage dealer there. But hey, if you don't have to worry about Basilisk and all the range type ships of the past, you suddenly get a whole lot of your land tiles back that people have been claiming for give us more land for how long. And in fact, I commented on the one thing. I took an old, not a real old, but a recent layout that is, protected from being sniped, and said, okay, if I don't have to worry about that and can move this in, I took a guess at how much I could move it in. I gain either 15 or 16 land tiles to go and play with. 15 or 16 land tiles is a whole lot of creative room to work with.
Yeah, that was my thought on it. Was as far as because it aims at the lowest health ship based on total armor. So it's not even going to aim at the abomination or whatever it's called first, because the exterminator has less.
Right.
So, and the exterminator already has built-in penetrative damage, penetrative resistance. So
It has some, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can boost it. So, but the abomination has none. So it's still going to aim at the exterminator first if it's in range. So that was the other thing that was concerning to me, that it's going to basically, I don't know how much damage it's going to do, and it's going to peck away at the Abomination, but it's not really going to do that much to the Exterminator at all. It's going to do way less because of the built-in deflection on top of, if you use the right invader plate.
Right.
So what are you doing there, Mike?
Well, I'm trying to make it so I can see what I'm doing. It seems like there's not much making the screen a little bit.
Okay.
And then I was waiting for you guys to stop so that you could. There. How's that?
Okay.
Is that better?
Yeah, I haven't even looked at this target, to be honest. I don't really look at these targets until later in the raid.
At 100%, I mean, you can only see this little area right in there.
Yeah, it's quite a big one, but I just sort of go around.
I was just when I did it, you went counterclockwise.
Yeah, just sort of starting wherever you want.
Get this guy here, and then
I actually peek into that close far side, and then get right back out of there. I don't go towards the center until all those. You see how that far side shooting at a platform, and there's 4 of those platforms in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to go to the middle until those 4 fire support buildings are dead.
Right. Well, let's see what happens. I assume you take this guy first, right?
Yeah, and I got to go inside for that. And I do grab that cannon ballista turret on the way there. And then it's just going counterclockwise, and this bit's pretty nice. With my X1 fleet, I don't have to. You got to get closer to that turret, otherwise you leave it half health. And then keep moving.
Now?
Yeah. Okay. Well, the turret back there didn't do any damage to you, and that far side, you didn't need to stay near it because it kills the thing in like 1 volley anyway, and it's not taking any fire. So. I think I usually enter at the very bottom, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I forgot this one here. You enter where you enter. It's not a.
Yeah, it's one of those ones again. And once you get that last far side, you're good to charge for the target. It's not too complicated, I think, compared to even some of the other siege targets we've seen. And there's a few things that happen, like the turret there. It blends right in. So
I didn't see it.
And once you start hitting it a few times, anyone who does that, they'll get more used to doing the target. And I just like counterclockwise because it makes those little damage rings. It works best for those, from what I found, going that way.
Oh, now you got to go in, right?
You can hit those guys from the outside.
I didn't see him again.
And yeah, at this point, all the fire support buildings are dead, so you can just kind of skim around those platforms and grab whatever. There might be a best way to do that, only going on the inside or the outside of those 4 things, but it doesn't matter at that point to me. There are 2 turrets right above your mouse there. You'll probably get like 10 minutes repair total, and you can get 25 up to instant base.
How many? I'm just asking because of this raid. How many clicks are in a mouse before it dies?
That's a good question.
Lots.
Yes.
Mike don't click once.
But this raid makes me wonder how many clicks I have in my mouse. It's like,
It's the 18 minutes, 29 seconds.
Okay.
20 million. Probably
Okay.
for this top end ones. You buy a cheap knockoff one. I've got a $15 one that's lasted me for about 3 years at this point. But
This raise might put it to the
yeah, I might. No,
might put it
it's
to the
still.
test.
So what was your repair? 16 minutes? Should be instant, right?
18:29. Let's see.
11 seconds. God damn it. At least you didn't use your 12-hour fleet repair token on that guy.
I did lose a 1 hour fleet repair token on a 5-minute repair
Okay.
earlier. So I was real happy with that.
Alrighty. So I guess we don't have much else for the remainder of the show. The thing that I did find interesting today, has anybody ever seen excuse my pronunciation, CPAC Takra? Has anybody heard that word before?
I
Nope.
can't say that I have.
Like Chopra?
No, CPAC. Let me double check. CPAC Takra. I'll put the word in.
Tupac's lesser known brother, is it?
No,
That's what I was going to say. Sounds kind of like.
No, it is a crazy sport. And I
Sounds
was
like a wrestler.
No, it's not. It's a combination of soccer, hacky sack, and volleyball. And I'm assuming that everybody that's involved with this, if you played this for 5 minutes, you would be out of you'd be out of commission for a month if you played one game. So I'll just leave it at that. I put the actual spelling into the to the chat. Incredible sport. It's mostly played in Southeast Asia, and I was baffled the first time I saw it. I just never seen anything like it. So just for some, a walk away as far as something else that you might want to look at. The highlights are phenomenal. I don't know what it looks like to play a complete game of this, but it is something. I do know. I mean, watching it just makes me feel like I'm going to strain ligaments and cause all sorts of problems to my body. But
I think I'll stick with marble racing.
Marble racing, that was another thing I talked about. Yeah. And that's not going to cause the bodily injury that I think just from that this sport is going to cause. So, all righty, everybody. If there's nothing else to add, should we proceed to the after show?
Yep.
Okay. Alrighty, folks. Thanks for showing up. We'll be back on Wednesday to decide if it's going to be a 175, a 179, a 178, or Derpy's pick, the 173 and the FM.
Which we might have had already. I actually don't know.
Yes. So thanks for showing up, and we will see you next week.
Remember to blitz your raid, folks.
Goodbye, everyone.